As a former starting pitcher who used to like to take the guessing game out of going to the bullpen, do you dislike the way the game has gone with the starting pitchers?
I think that the mindset, I don't necessarily think it's changed. Let's say, like, if you have guys that have the ability to take the baseball into the 7th and 8th inning, then that's phenomenal. There's a bunch of guys that do it. I mean, but not everybody's Paul Skeens.
What a week for Jake Arrieta back in Chicago. He joins us on the Yingling guest hotline right now. Jake, how the hell are you?
Well, I'll be honest, as I'm sure you guys would expect. I'm a little beat up. I had a super early flight this morning. Got family pictures this evening, which it's still 105 degrees here. And then I got to drive to Houston because my Cooper's got a tournament, big tournament there. But still kind of buzzing, man. Like it's the electricity in the city was outstanding, and I was just happy to just be a small part of it.
Before we get into that, these family pictures of yours, my wife forces me to do these like yearly or every other year pictures. It's usually in the cold or is this something that you're being dragged to do just because?
No, not. At first, I'd say like 6 to 8 years ago, we started doing it. And I didn't like it at first, but when I see how they turn out, and our photographer is really, really good, and we've done some at the beach, we've done some here locally in Austin at a place called Bull Creek, which is where we're going tonight. Just the scenery is great. The kids have started to get a little bit more into it as they've gotten older, and it's good memory. So I put on a smile and that's what Brittany needs. So I'm there doing it. It's good.
What kind of outfit are we wearing tonight for the family picture?
Today, so I've got like just a standard pair of jeans and it's like a camel color T-shirt. So nothing crazy, nothing super fancy. Brittany's going to look way better than me, as will Palmer. Cooper's got I think he's wearing a white mizzen and main short sleeve collared shirt and some jeans. So. We should look pretty solid.
Did I hear right that you're training for something? Are you training for like a one of these marathons or a triathlon? Yeah. What are you doing, Jake?
Yes, I got the San Antonio Marathon December 7th. I was in training for marathons last year, but then I had knee surgery in September, kind of set me back a little bit. Then I broke my foot on a trail run. I blame my dogs for that one, But yes, I would love to do triathlons, but man, I don't flow very well. I'm really intimidated by the swim part of it. Yeah. I'm really good on the bike. Like I like to ride anywhere from 80 to 100 miles a week when I'm doing serious training, running anywhere from 20 to 30 miles. But I just don't love swimming. I'm just not a big fan. But maybe at some point I'll try and attack one of those.
Did you say December 7th is the marathon date?
That's right.
What kind of temperature are we expecting in a December day in San Antonio?
I think it'll probably be in the 60s, which is perfect running conditions. So currently I'm training, and I like to run midday, and people think I'm crazy. So it's anywhere from mid to upper 90s, close to 105. But I like to put myself in that environment, because if I can run certain distances in that temperature, December 7th in San Antonio on more flat terrain, that's going to be a piece of cake.
Piece of cake.
26 point something. Only you would say that.
No big deal. Yeah. And hey, look, I'm not trying to set any crazy records. This is my first one. I'd like to be under 4 hours, and I know that a sub 4 marathon is pretty solid. It's above average. So I'm gonna set the bar there and see how it goes. And then if I do really well, I might try and bring that number down by 15 or 20 minutes for the next time.
It's pretty crazy. I thought he was going to say, I hope to run in under 6 or something like that. And he's like, under 4. Unbelievable. Jake Arrieta joining us, Waddle and Silvy on ESPN 1000. All right, so take us through the week in chronological order. Was the original plan...
It might be hard.
Yeah, was it just to be here for one game, and then you're like, I got to stay for the entire series? And what is it like for somebody who was out there on the mound? And a lot of these times, you focus the crowd out. So now you're a part of the crowd. What surprised you about you as a fan and sitting with people like us?
Yeah, well, that was probably the first time since being, a former player where I was I was that nervous, So I, coaching my son, and Cooper's 14 now, so he's playing at a high level, be a freshman in high school next year. I'm more nervous watching him play and the last couple nights watching the Cubs play than I ever was as a player, and it's a strange feeling. And I think that all the people around me, the emotions are super high. Everybody's kind of freaking out, and the sky's falling if someone gets a base hit. I'm like, y'all just got to chill out, because I'm nervous inside too, but you're making it way worse. But no, so I was the intention was to stay for game 1 and 2, but then after San Diego took game 2, I'm like, shit, I got to stay for game 3. I'd feel awful not awful, but I'd be like, man, I'm on a plane home, and the Cubs are going to play game 3, and I'm going to miss it. So delayed the flight till this morning and got to see the boys get it done.
Jake, how much did it mean to you to be welcomed back and to be part of all of this? And rightfully so, as you played such an important role in the glory days of recent years. But just to be included in all this, how much did it mean to you?
Well, the staff and, the city, the people that, have worked with the Cubs, since I was there and still do incredible things for the organization, have always been extremely generous towards me, and wanted to, make me a part of as much as I could be there for. So very thankful for that, and just to be around the players the last couple of days. And obviously Hap was the only guy that is on that team that I played with at all, and just I love those guys, and with PCA and we're talking to Keller and Tyone and Hap. Just wanted to express my gratitude and appreciation for what they were able to accomplish, and just to be there to see it firsthand, celebrate with them a little bit, them and their families. It's special, man. It feels just like it did when I was playing.
And I have 2 questions about the celebration party, and we're talking to Jake Arrieta, former Cy Young winner, World Series champion, all-time great Cub. What is it like as a former player being in on the party with the current Cubs players?
Yeah, so it's a good question. I mean, mainly I'm just kind of I want to be out of the way. So it was like me and Eddie Vedder just kind of in the corner doing our thing, having a beer, saying hi to some guys, and if they wanted me to to celebrate, be a part, and do their thing, I'm in. But I'm also I'm not going to completely immerse myself in that, because that's their moment.
And then take us through this. We've always wondered this. And, there are some younger hosts on this station who say, boy, they really celebrate after just winning the wild card. Baseball is unique, Jake. As you know, you've been through many of these champagne and beer parties. You win a wild card game, you celebrate the champagne. You beat the Cardinals, you celebrate with the champagne, and on and on and on. In other sports, you win an NBA series, you just move on. You win a wild card playoff game. In football, you just move on. What makes baseball unique where you guys embrace the celebration and you're not thinking there's not other bigger tasks at hand later?
Yeah. It's a really good question. I never really thought about it, since you brought that up with other sports. But I think maybe because of how long the season is, how many games that are played, and you never know. I mean, obviously the expectation now and even before the wild card series for the Cubs was to get to the World Series and win the World Series. But, you never know when you're going to get to that point again. You're nothing's a guarantee, right? San Diego's a really, really good team. It could potentially be the best team they play throughout the postseason. So getting past those guys is an accomplishment in its own right, and it should be celebrated.
What's the drunkest you've gotten? Which party did you get the most drunk in?
Oh, God. Probably when we clinched against the Dodgers in the NLCS. Eddie Vedder came to Lester's house after, put on a little private concert for us. Hendricks beat Kershaw, correct, in Game 6?
Yes.
That was the matchup, right?
Yes.
I was going to be pitching Game 7 if it got to that point. We obviously didn't need it, and the rest is kind of a blur, but probably that night, yes.
Okay, I hate to bring this up, but what happened with the throwing out the first pitch the other day?
Oh man, I was getting pulled in all different directions because they're like, "Hey, you can't lob it in. You've got to get after it and let it fly a little bit." I'm like, "Well, if that's the case, I can't completely control where the ball goes." So that was, I could have just, picked up the leg, put the foot down, and tossed it in, and everybody would have, maybe gave me a couple claps. But I thought it was a better idea to let it fly, and I didn't bounce it, so that's a plus.
When was the last time?
Man, and I threw 300 pitches in BP to my son's team a couple days before, so I was hanging a little bit.
I was going to ask you, when was the last time that you actually kind of threw semi-competitively?
Yeah, so every once in a while, I will throw like a live sim game to my son's team from the full distance, from 60 feet, and I try and get it up to, low to mid 80s. And I forgot how hard it actually is, especially without, going through like a throwing program in the off season and spring training. And that's why throwing a baseball is so much more difficult than people realize. It's like you can't just get out of bed without throwing for 3 or 4 weeks and have 92 in the tank. Like, it takes a while to get all that kind of stuff built up. But, if you gave me a month, like, I could still get up to 92.
Jake, what do you make of all of the guys these days that are throwing triple digits, and specifically Mason Miller, who hit the 104-plus mark on the gun?
I mean, when I'm sitting there, I was in the first row by the on-deck circle, and, I mean, it almost looks impossible, and I know that, fans and everybody, they expect hits, and you want to score runs, of course we do, but against a guy like that, it doesn't seem like a fair fight. It's incredibly crazy to watch a guy like when he was facing Seiya in game 2. I think he threw him 5 or 6 sliders in a row in one of those at bats, and he's got 104 in the tank on the black. Like, it's just not. It doesn't seem like a fair fight.
Yeah.
Wait, and then back to what you're talking about, like the size and the physicality of these guys. Like. In my prime, I was, up to 98, 99. I hit 100 a couple times early in my career in Baltimore, but it's one after another, like starting pitchers, relievers. And I was in awe before I threw my first pitch. Everybody's on the line getting introduced. Just the size of these kids, and I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", 230, but you've got Keller, who's probably 6'6", 250. And you just go up and down the line. These kids are monsters, and they're only getting bigger.
It really is incredible. But the thing that Waddle, and I'll speak more for me than Waddle. I dislike from an entertainment standpoint, Jake. We're talking to Jake Arrieta, that starting pitchers don't really go far, especially in the playoffs. Like, these are now it's a great performance if you go 4 innings of scoreless baseball. Like, Tyon was masterful yesterday, but then you go to the bullpen because you're living for that moment, and you've got to have everybody throwing at their freshest. Even 9 years ago, Jake, when you guys were doing it, Lester would go the distance. You would go the distance. Hendricks would go the distance. You mentioned Kershaw. Which way I should phrase it, as a former starting pitcher who used to like to take the guessing game out of going to the bullpen, do you dislike the way the game has gone with the starting pitchers?
I think that the mindset, I don't necessarily think it's changed. Let's say, like, if you have guys that have the ability to take the baseball into the 7th and 8th inning, then that's phenomenal. There's a bunch of guys that do it. I mean, but not everybody's Paul Skeens. You know what I mean? Those are. I don't think it's a thing of the past. But once you get to the postseason, the leash is shortened quite a bit. And if you have those high octane guys in the bullpen, like, you might as well, throw them out there when necessary. But it's just, as a starting pitcher, whether it's when I was playing 10, 15, 20 years ago, whenever, the objective for the starter is to see how long you can ride it out. And I never wanted to give the ball to another guy. And that wasn't, there wasn't trust in those guys down there. But I'm like, hey, I get to pitch 1 out of every 5 days. Like, I want you to take a day off.
Yeah, for sure. And my question about your starts, like, you had that first no-hitter on Sunday Night Baseball. You had the next no-hitter in 16. You won games in the World Series. But I will always contend that the start in Pittsburgh was maybe the most important, not only for you, but the team. Because, like, if you guys don't advance, you guys don't get the chance to beat St. Louis and Schwarber hitting one onto the roof and then getting the experience against the Mets to set up the following year. Would you agree with that? Is that your most important start ever?
Man, it's up there. I mean, it's hard to say that it's more important than Game 6 in the World Series. Right. But I mean, just with how long it had been since the Cubs had won a postseason game and everything that was on the line, and what we had kind of built, the organization and the ownership, like bringing in, signing great guys, trading for guys like myself, drafting super well, and having so many young rookies being able to perform at that level all at the same time is rare. So, and you just never know. Like, sometimes you need some good fortune, you need some good luck in certain situations. Like, when I had that double play ball, I forget what inning it was, but let's say, if it's a blooper over shortstop, now it's a one-run game or a tie game. Things could have been completely different. So, I mean, did I pitch incredibly well? Yes, I did, but also had some good fortune on my side, and the defense was there to back me up.
Jake, before we let you go, was this week a reminder of just how special that place can be on the north side? And can you describe how it's different than maybe the other places in all of Major League Baseball?
Well, I think because what makes, Wrigley unique is just the atmosphere and the environment around the stadium, the history, how old the stadium is, the old school feel. And the only other one that I could really compare it to is Fenway. And you guys understand that. There's tremendous history in some of the other ballparks like Dodger Stadium. But what's outside of Dodger Stadium? You can't wander 2 blocks and go, to Murphy's. You can't. You can't go to the country club or go have good dinner right down the street. So just the buzz around the stadium, it's unlike anything else. And when the team's good and when they're rolling like they are now, it only gets better.
I mentioned Schwarber too, but are you surprised that he's even taken it to the next level?
Dude, he's unbelievable. And it's like no matter what, the moment can't be big enough for Schwarber. And that's, I think, what makes him truly special is when things are really on the line, like he shows up as much or more than anybody I've ever seen. And to continue to watch him do this at such a high level and with a chance to, be in talks for an MVP, just speaks volumes about the kind of guy he is and what he's capable of doing as a player.
Well, you were always one of our favorites, Jake. Like back in 13, I think it was, or whenever you got here, 13, 14. We're like, who's this guy who's turning his career around? And then we put you on, and we're like, this guy's really good on the radio. So we've always enjoyed. You've always been honest, candid, upfront. You will always remember your performances, and hopefully we can catch up after you run your first marathon in under 4 hours.
Yeah, and enjoy the pictures tonight.
Yes. What's that?
Enjoy the pictures tonight as well.
Dude, so I've got a tank top on now. I've got my shirt on a hanger because I know I'm going to sweat through it if I put it on too early. I'll send you guys some of the photos. They're going to be good.
Okay.
And hey, hopefully I'm trying to get back to Chicago once they get done playing in Milwaukee. So I hope to see you guys soon.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
Great stuff, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
We appreciate you.